What's up? What's up? What's going on, y'all? Y'all know what time it is. It is Rise Up Unlimited, the radio show brought to you by WDAP Radio and WDAP TV. I am the fire starter, Andre the Torch Robinson, in the building with my guys. You see them, Marcus the Alphabets, Friday night, Mr. Friday Night Lights in the building. Signing on. We got a great show for you. Dalton Smith, my guy D-Man, is in the building. We also got special guests today, man. We got special guests. Terrell Harris is in the house as well. Terrell, what's good, Terrell?
What up, man? How's it going?
Quotes, my guy Quotes is in the building. If you don't know this guy, you should have listened to this guy. He's been on the radio a couple of times. Very sports acumen. His sports acumen is definitely on point. We got a great show for you guys. I'm telling you now, we got a whole lot of great topics coming up. We have the NBA playoffs. Obviously, we're going to talk about the finals. We got Aaron Donald's big contract we're going to talk about. We'll talk about Deshaun Watson. All right. Don't touch that dial. Don't touch that dial. Make sure you tune in. All right. Now, you see it down here. Obviously, join the conversation. The call line will be open. 716-481-8249 is the number. Make sure you like and share this show straight up. I see Austin Johnson and others. Ron Enix already in the building, watching, tuning in. Man, gotta shout out the sponsors too. Shout out to Luigi's Pizza. Shout out to Daddy-O's Pizza. Shout out to Myasha Fashions. And I'm letting y'all know this right now before the show even starts. This Saturday, all right, any small business that is looking to be on television, you can come on the M&T Live at the Apollo show that we do at the Apollo Media Center at Jefferson and Utica. You know what we do, 1337 Jefferson Avenue. You can come on, represent your brand, talk some sports with us. My guy Monster will be out of town, so I will be looking for a guest host to come on as well. Saturday evening around like 1:30 in the afternoon. I'm gonna be looking for somebody to come on television with me. But nevertheless, we are here. This is the Rise Up Unlimited Radio Show. Shout out to Angelita and David Allen for giving us the platform here to be able to do what we do. Now, with that being said, we need to get into some sports talk. Marcus, you ready? You know what? I don't even know why I asked Marcus, is he ready? Mr. Friday Night Lights is always ready. Dalton, I know you ready. Quote, I know you ready. What's good? Yeah. What's good? Let's get right into this, folks. Listen, big news out of LA today as Aaron Donald was signed to the biggest non-quarterback contract of all time, baby. Of all time. My question to you guys, does this make Aaron Donald the greatest of all time at his position?
Oh no, not at all.
We gonna start that now?
Yes.
Oh, no. You give me three defensive tackles in history better than Aaron Donald. I'm waiting.
Now listen, my argument isn't that he's not the best ever in his position. My argument is that the money doesn't make him that. Him getting that contract doesn't make him that. We see guys get big contracts all the time and then crap out and do nothing. So the contract itself doesn't really have the significance that people think that it has. Shout out to Donda Sports, by the way, by securing that bag for Aaron Donald. But I do truly believe he is the best D tackle we have seen in history in the NFL.
Well, that's why he's being rewarded. I think his contract does make him that because they're saying they're paying him as such. They're paying him as such. You're worth what people think that you're worth. We might think it's too much money.
If we want to talk about it, a lot of people got money they should not have gotten this offseason. Christian Kirk is the prime example. He was the 27th ranked receiver in the league and got a huge bag, which is kind of the we suck premium from the Jaguars.
Was he the highest paid? Was he the highest paid receiver though of all time?
Oh no,
like Meek Mill says, there's levels to this. When you get paid a certain amount of money, it's because people view you a certain way. When a guy like Aaron Rodgers gets paid that type of money, it's because they view him a certain way, and he's proven it. Aaron Donald, he has three defensive MVPs, a Super Bowl champion, I think a 6-time first team All Pro. I think that speaks to what they think about him and why they got the contract and why they got the contract.
I don't think Aaron Rodgers deserves the money he gets either. That's a topic for another day, but I just had to get that in there.
Oh, what? Wait a minute. You would have listen. I thought I was the fire starter. And you already came on here, quotes, with your stuff already trying to fire start on the show. What's really up with you?
Facts here, man. Aaron Rodgers got carried to his one Super Bowl title by B.J. Raji and Clay Matthews and Charles Woodson in that defense, and he hasn't done anything in the playoffs since to prove himself as that caliber quarterback. Regular season MVP is fine, that's great, but if you cannot get it done in the playoffs, then what are you doing? If your season is a failure, if you're not doing it in the playoffs, so every season except for one in his career has been a failure.
Okay, well, that's, I mean, so what is our criteria? I guess this is the question. What is our criteria? What's our criteria for you being so before Aaron Rodgers was the highest paid, Patrick Mahomes was the highest paid quarterback. Did he deserve it? Because you do know that whenever Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow come up, they're going to probably be at $55-60 million.
To me,
that's just the way. That's the way it works in the NFL.
If we want to be 100, none of these guys deserve that money. None of these quarterbacks deserve that money.
See that it doesn't matter what profession you're in. You're worth what somebody says that you're worth. If you go out there and you deliver pizzas for Pizza Hut, and then Domino says you're worth more money, then that's what you're worth. We don't get to dictate what somebody's worth. The GMs out there. Let me ask you this: If Aaron, there's a lot of Aarons out there. Aaron Jones, Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Donald. If Aaron Rodgers was a free agent, okay, if the Packers had just cut him, what would he be worth? And you're also looking at the Deshaun Watson contract too. Deshaun Watson, and we're going to get to that. Deshaun Watson might not play another down in the NFL. He may not play another down in the NFL. And look, I'm using the Cleveland Browns, which you know, all my Cleveland Browns fans out there, all three of you, it's the Cleveland Browns. We do have to take that into consideration. But if they looked at Deshaun Watson and they said, this guy who the coach from Clemson says is Michael Jordan in cleats. He did say that, right? Dabo Swinney, he said that, right? Yeah. Dabo Swinney, he called Deshaun Watson Michael Jordan in cleats. And they say $230 million guaranteed for a guy who may not even play another down, who's facing 24 civil suits, but they look at him and they look at that, and you're saying, well, he's never won anything. Well, Josh Allen hadn't won anything either, and he was ranked number 2 a few months ago. So it's you get your contract based off of what we think of you, how we perceive you, and again, when Joe Burrow comes up. And whenever Joe Burrow, who went to the Super Bowl in his second year, when he comes up, when Justin Herbert comes up, they're going to be at $55-60 million. That's just the way that it works. That's how it works. Generally, last man is the next guy. And in a few months, Nick Bosa is going to be right up there with him. I don't know if he'll pass him, but Nick Bosa will be right up there with him and T.J. Watt. That's just the way that's just what it is.
All right, folks. Yep. Let me read some of these. Matter of fact, let me put some of these comments up. These comments is going crazy. They said supply and demand. Whatever the market pays you, says Sam Slade. He said, using the Jags as an example, Fletron Moore said is terrible.
Hey, they're an NFL team. They paying the same money other teams is paying. It's a viable example.
Hey, he also said he got the bag because he's the DT GOAT. He is the DT GOAT,
Exactly.
according to Cliff Moore. Now, Sam also said the two gave nothing. The two have nothing to do with each other. Gary Tollett, what's good? Gary said, "Well, who's better?" Sam Slayer said he gets paid. Hell no. They said, "What it do? What's going on? What's good, family?" I see Monster in the building. I see. Oh, my assistant. What's good, Valerie? What's good? What's good? Good to see you. Listen. We getting it started early. I see NCW in the building. They asking about the Golden State Warriors and all this stuff. You know where you at, man. We are on the Rise Up Unlimited radio show. Monday Night Madness is in the building right here on WDAP Radio and WDAP TV. Obviously, we on YouTube as well, by the way. And yes, it's coming. It's coming. A whole lot of stuff is coming. So, tune in and buckle your seatbelts up for a good show. We already started. Quotes getting it going early. Dalton, what's your thoughts on Aaron Donald being the highest paid non-quarterback player in the league? They gave him a $40 million raise over the last 3 years of his existing contract, and he's to eclipse $30 million per season. So, what do you feel about that, Dalton Smith?
Honestly, I'm not surprised because he is one of the best 4-3 defense tackle. Like, who's better than Aaron Donald? Like, no one, in my honest opinion. I'm just glad this whole thing was over because he was threatening to retire. So I'm just glad that thing's done. He deserved it. And I think he's a great defensive tackle, in my opinion.
All right.
I'll tell you something, Dre. Aaron Donald is what the Detroit Lions thought that Ndamukong Suh would be.
Ooh.
He's what they thought. He's what they thought that he would be. Is that fair? When you draft a defensive tackle number 2 overall, when you're drafted, I think Aaron Donald got picked at like 17, 18. He was like at 17, 18, somewhere around there, wasn't he?
I think like 13, 14. I think it is.
Something like that. I think he was in the same draft. I think he was in the 2014 draft because that was the draft. I think he was in the same draft as Johnny Manziel. And I think who else?
Khalil Mack.
And my Cowboys, we got Zach Martin instead. I was hoping that we get him, but he went before. I think he went like 3 spots before him. So, look, when you're once again, a few weeks back, guys, it's been maybe about a month ago. I got on here, and for 2 or 3 weeks, I had somebody debating with me, going back and forth with me. When you draft a guy in the first round, especially when you draft him number 1 or top 3 or whatever, what are your expectations for a guy like that? He has exceeded their highest expectations. A guy like Ndamukong Suh comes out number 2 pick in the draft. They think this guy's going to dominate. Unfortunately, he played with the Lions, who ruins careers left and right. But he's what when you draft a guy 1 or 2 overall, Baker Mayfield, and they expect you not to be a journeyman, not to get cut or replaced before the end of your first contract. They expect Pro Bowls, All Pros, Super Bowls. That's what they expect. Not for you to be sitting pouting over in the corner making stupid ass commercials about to get cut. Or not show up for OTAs and stuff like that. So this is a teaching moment, boys and girls. This is a teaching moment. When you're picked in the first round, there are high expectations for you. And when you don't meet those expectations, Josh Rosen, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, then you are considered. You are considered. I hashtag bust. Look it up. I'm all over the place. You are a bust. You're a bust. So
are you giving Baker Mayfield that label as a bust?
Yes.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yes, I am.
We're not gonna get into the. Wait a minute, we're not getting back into this Baker Mayfield debate today. Please, let's not do that.
Just real quick, Dre. Because I don't want to. We had some shows where it took the whole show. If I draft a guy number 1, if you draft a guy number 1, and he does not pan out, What do you call him?
I think Baker panned out. I think it's more on the team than it is Baker.
A bust?
Yeah, Baker's not a bust to me. We look at guys like Justin Herbert and think they deserve 55, 60 million when Justin Herbert hasn't even touched the playoffs yet. We watch Baker Mayfield get Cleveland, and being drafted number 1 overall doesn't automatically mean Super Bowls and stuff like that when you get drafted to Cleveland. So let's temper like the expectations a little bit, being a number 1 pick for Cleveland.
Okay. Hang on. You do know that year that they had 3 first-round picks, right?
Yeah.
Do you consider Denzel Ward a bust?
Not a bust, but not.
Do you consider Denzel Ward a bust?
Yes. For a 4th overall pick, yes.
He's the highest paid corner in the league.
And he doesn't deserve. Does you think?
Okay. Let me ask you this. Is Nick Chubb a bust?
No.
Nick Chubb was in the same draft. He's
one of the best running backs in the league.
In the second round.
He's one of the best running backs in the league.
You can't say that the Browns messed this up. Nick Chubb was drafted in that same 2018 draft in the second round. He was in the same draft as Baker Mayfield. That makes you a bust. Is Quentin Nelson a bust?
No. You guys, I don't want to get off. I don't want to get off topic.
Okay, I'm just saying. I mean, these are some of the guys that went after Baker Mayfield. Is Josh Allen a bust?
No.
No.
He got drafted after Baker Mayfield, so you can't use that as an argument. That's terrible. But I digress. Go ahead, Dre.
By the way, this is what we talk about, y'all. For y'all that just tuned in to the Rise Up Unlimited radio show right here, brought to you by WDAP Radio and TV. We are on Springer.com. We are on YouTube. We are on Facebook and other social media platforms. We are talking about the Aaron Donald contract. And Marcus the Alphabet once again has gave us some fire, put some fire under a couple of folks behind, because Aaron Donald, being a first round draft pick, is getting big money, and there's a couple of folks who are number 1 draft picks who.
What do you call a guy? Look. There's this show. We're still on TV, Sesame Street, and they have the word of the day. What do you call a guy drafted in the top 5 for whatever reason? I mean, there's some guys they're busts, like Jamarcus Russell, because he'd rather eat it at a bunch of buffets and wouldn't study his playbook. He's a bust, okay? But you have other guys that have this talent. Do you consider the Cleveland Browns a talented? Do you feel like they have talented players on their team? Sometimes you don't have success because you don't have players around you, and you're like, okay, they're bad because they don't have anything. Now we just saw Matthew Stafford all those years at Detroit, and then he goes to the Rams and he does good. Baker Mayfield. You got Nick Chubb, you got Denzel Ward, you got Jadeveon Clowney, you got Myles Garrett. Are those pretty good players? And you're getting cut, or they tell you to go home. Don't even come here, just go home. Come on now, that's a bust. The B word, the other B word.
The second half of the season did not throw a single interception. Went in the playoffs and beat Pittsburgh. Last year he played injured. And because they wanted Deshaun Watson so bad, the whole narrative around Baker Mayfield changed to a bust.
What does that say, though? That he does all of this and they still say, you know what, we're going to guarantee a guy who has 24 civil suits, and we still rather have this guy. What does that say?
That they gave up on Baker as soon as he got injured.
Why? What? Hang on. If the Buffalo Bills said that Josh Allen was available, okay, that Josh Allen was available,
don't break my heart.
How many teams? Hang on, just answer this question for me. If Josh Allen were to become available, okay, and the Buffalo Bills say, you know what, we give up on Josh Allen. That's not going to happen. I'm just hypothetical, okay? How many teams would try to get Josh Allen, who was in the same draft as Baker Mayfield?
Ooh, yeah. That's
28
Yeah, that's a good question.
28 teams, maybe not the Chiefs, maybe not the Bengals, maybe not the Chargers. 28 teams would stop what they're doing and put their mortgage their whole future to get Josh Allen. Baker Mayfield becomes available. Okay, and teams that are starving for a quarterback, like Seattle, like Carolina, who has another bust on their team, Sam Darnold, they say, "Nah, we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good."
Y'all peep the shirt, man. Peep the shirt,
That's a bust, bro.
Peep the shirt. Hold on, Marcus. Tell him to peep the shirt. Peep the
What's
shirt.
the shirt?
Great overcome devastation.
Hang on. If Patrick Mahomes, if the Chiefs said, "Hey, we give up on Patrick Mahomes. Anybody who wants him, make us a bid and come and get him." How many teams would go after Patrick Mahomes?
I think every team but Buffalo and Cincinnati right now.
Exactly. So what are you talking about with Baker Mayfield? They told him, go seek a trade. Seek a trade.
This comment says everything, Marcus. It says everything. The Colts went and got 38-year-old Matt Ryan when Baker basically begged to come there. Okay.
And what's your word, Dalton? What's your word? Baker goes on Twitter. He goes on Twitter and photoshops a picture of him in a Colts uniform. And they said, no. What is that P word that you use, Dalton?
Pathetic.
That's pathetic. Come on. We got to stop with this nonsense, man. Now, I will say this. I'll reserve this, okay? Maybe down the road, Baker Mayfield will be a good quarterback. What's today's date?
You know what today is. 6/6/22. 6/6/22.
But as of today, as of this day, Tuesday, Monday, whatever,
Monday, June 6th.
June the 6th, Baker Mayfield is a bust as of today. Now, will he turn it around? Will he win a Super Bowl down the road? It won't be for Cleveland, but will he win a Super Bowl down the road? Maybe. So back to the original topic.
Yeah. So
Donald deserved his money. The best defensive tackle. There used to be a compare. I used to think that there was a comparison with him. Somebody earlier this week, Cam Hayward, and shout out to my co-host Ramona Diehard. He said he feels like he doesn't get enough respect. I feel like I'm in that same class. Cam Hayward, I like you, and confidence is good. Confidence is very good. You're not Aaron Donald, bro. You're not that guy. You're not. So
all right. Now, with that being said, listen. There's another P word that's super important. It's called phone. Phone lines is open. Join the conversation. 716-481-8249. All right? Or, in better words, bang my line. Hello, bang my line. Or should I beg for you to call me? Like Baker Mayfield. With that being said, moving right along, we got to talk about another Cleveland Brown, Deshaun Watson. Boy, oh boy, did his attorney get hella flack this week as it was revealed that Deshaun Watson wanted to pay $100,000 to each of the 24 women who have supposedly been allegedly sexual assaulted. Number one, I want to say, whoever your attorney is, Deshaun Watson, you need the Lincoln lawyer. Okay, first and foremost, go get the Lincoln lawyer.
This dude said, happy endings aren't illegal. He said,
he really said that though.
He said that in the interview. Rusty, do you know who Rusty Hardin? It was Roger Clemens' lawyer. He was Roger Clemens' lawyer when Roger Clemens was going through that whole steroid. And for you to go on a live interview and to say,
I got you, Mona,
happy endings are not illegal. Like, bro. What are you
He
doing?
got. I told you need to go get the Lincoln Lawyer. By the way, on Netflix, if you haven't watched it, go watch it.
Shit in one day. That joint was amazing.
Listen, I got a caller on the line, straight from Virginia. This woman is phenomenal. She is die hard. I'm gonna tell you right now, Ramona died. What's up?
I'm getting ready to play Will Smith and tell Marcus, keep my mouth. Let me out your mouth.
That's a good one.
I had to. Okay.
That's a good one right there. She said, keep my head out your mouth.
I called because of the Deshaun Watson saga. Marcus and I were talking about this a couple of days ago. And then last night, I think I don't know if it was last night, not before I did. I've slept a little bit since then. But I'm going to tell you right now, I think that Deshaun Watson may be lucky to ever play again. I think he's played his last game when he was still with Houston. Because I'm telling you, this is not a good look for the NFL. And Roger Goodell has been trying to straighten the NFL up.
Good.
As a woman, knowing that there are 24 women who have come forward against this man, as a woman who is a diehard NFL fan, and you know this, it sickens me for people who are giving him this benefit of the doubt with 24 women who have come forward. If it was one or two, I could say, okay, you know what, they're after his money. But there are 24 complaints against him now. It was just 22, and he offered each 22 women $100,000 to settle.
That's $2.2 million for somebody who makes millions.
Each to settle. 17 or 18 of the women actually were going to take him up, but it was an exclusive deal. All 22 had to accept it. So at this point, he's got to go to court on it.
$2.2 million for a guy who made $40 million last year.
Exactly. That's what I just said.
The outlook of the NFL. The guy never played an extra game of football in the NFL.
Oh, I want to say this real quick. We by no means at the Rise Up family, WDAP radio, and everybody that's involved we do not condone sexual assault, sexual anything. So yes, you hear us
harassment, sexual impropriety, anything,
any of that stuff. You hear us laughing and having a little fun about what we're talking about, but we do not take this subject matter whatsoever funny at all. It is not funny. It's not cool. His lawyer is an idiot, to be honest with you, to come out there and literally have the gall, a mitigated gall, to come out there.
Happy endings are not illegal.
Arrogantly say that. Arrogant. So arrogantly too, Ramona. I just don't understand. Joe Monster McDowell said too much ass smacking. Rocco Raquelli said, yo, Baker is a top 25 in the NFL, which means he's a low tier starting top tier backup. Yeah. Sam Slade, NCW
okay.
In the house.
Let me respond. Let me respond
a little bit on the Baker Mayfield comment.
Let me
respond. 3 years, even when my co-host was taking us to Baker Mayfield and saying, give him an opportunity to have, a steady head coach, and now of course he's calling him a bust. As I have been doing for the last 3 years, but I'm gonna play devil's advocate on this. I think what Baker Mayfield did with his messed up shoulder and him going out there and still trying to help the Cleveland Browns win, I think they done him dirty as shit. And now they have a quarterback that they brought to the team that may not ever see a live NFL game.
That's true. That's true. Responding to what Rocco said, though, he said he's
I didn't hear anybody else's responses, so just wanted to let you know that.
He said he's a top 25 quarterback. That's not the way I look at it. I look at it, if you're okay, there's 32 teams in the NFL, right? If you're 16 and below, you're a below average quarterback. When I draft you number 1 overall, I'm not drafting you to be a below average quarterback. When I draft you number 1, I expect you to be Dan Marino. I expect you to be Troy Aikman. I expect you to be Joe Burrow. I expect you to be.
Go
ahead.
When I draft you number 1, I expect you to be a Pro Bowler, All Pro, Super Bowl champion. You know, not everybody can win a Super Bowl, but I expect you to at least be in a few Pro Bowls and hopefully be an All Pro. Not cut. You know, I don't expect you to be Ryan Fitzpatrick. I expect you to be a starting caliber quality quarterback that starts for my team for the next 10 to 15 years. So when you don't do that, now maybe he'll get an opportunity somewhere else. I would say right now, and Dalton, you probably would know this better than anyone. I would say right now, Jameis Winston is a bust.
Fair enough. He's kind of like a bust to me unless he haven't proven
to be a number 1 pick, and the guy who went right after him, number 2, Marcus Mariota, bust. If I draft you number 1 or 2 overall, I expect you to be my franchise quarterback going forward 10, 15 years, Pro Bowls and All Pros. Not barely making it, just scraping by and bouncing from team to team. I expect you to be a performer.
So I want to bring on to the show one of my young boys. He's a phenomenal wrestling connoisseur, sports enthusiast. My guy, Benjamin Ben. I call him Wave. The Wave is in the building. Needle mover. What's good?
Hey, doing, man. How y'all doing tonight?
What's going on? How you doing?
Pretty good. It's always good to have, the young guys on here too, to give their opinion, right here. Obviously, y'all know what y'all watching. Rise Up Unlimited Radio. Obviously, the Unlimited Radio Show on WDAP TV, on YouTube, Spreaker.com, and on Facebook. Let me ask my guy who just jumped in the building. Then I'm going to talk to Dalton for a minute. And then we're going to go to quotes, obviously, and ask y'all what y'all feel about Deshaun Watson in this situation.
Wait. Not to go off topic. I want to come at Mr. Red Hat over here. This is my guy. I want to come at you over here.
Okay.
I feel like you might be reaching just low-key to say Jameis Winston is a bust. I think you're reaching just a little bit. I mean,
okay.
As a bust, when you're talking now about a bust, like a complete bust in the NFL, to me, it's like the guy I just mentioned, Marcus Mariota. A complete bust. You know who's a complete bust that's in the league right now? It's the quarterback.
Who's that?
I mean, not Baker Mayfield. I'm sorry, Cam Newton. Cam Newton is the biggest bust to be in the NFL. You mean a
guy who won the MVP and played in the Super Bowl? That's a bust.
You mean the guy that hasn't been heard of since he went to the Super Bowl or had?
But I'm just saying now you can question his longevity,
right?
Now we could have that. We can have that debate, but a guy.
Whoa! Time out. I think the real question is how much shelf life do you have before you're considered a bust? What is the shelf life? Can you be good in the beginning of your career and then end up being a bust later on, or do you have to be terrible in the beginning?
You have some guys who come out. You have some guys who come out there right out the gate. Here's the thing. Here's the thing with Cam Newton. His style of play is not conducive to a long career. You know how old Cam Newton is?
30.
He's like 35, I would
33,
say.
33 years old.
Yeah, I was right.
He's younger than Aaron Rodgers. He's younger than he's relatively young, but when you play that style of ball and your quarterback is your primary rusher, Josh Allen, and you rush your quarterback 12 and 15 times and run him up the middle, he's taking poundings and stuff like that. This is a cautionary tale for all of those running quarterbacks out there, and I tell my boy Gary Tollett, I call it a gimmicky ass offense. When your quarterback is your primary rusher and you're running him up there, and he's taking an additional 12 and 15 hits on design quarterback runs, it will shorten Lamar Jackson. And until they go out and go get him a primary number one wide receiver that he can throw the ball to, that he can depend on. If you keep running Lamar Jackson like the way that you run him, he's not going to survive. If the Buffalo Bills keep running Josh Allen like they do, he's not going to survive. He's not going to survive. And that's what happened with Cam Newton. They ran him a lot in college at Auburn. He ran a lot when he won the junior college national championship here in Texas. He ran a lot in his Heisman Trophy year. And by the time, and then they ran him a lot in Carolina. And after 6 or 7 years, his body broke down. So do I think he's a bust? A guy who goes to the Super Bowl, a guy who won the MVP, a guy who went 15-1 in his Super Bowl year? No, he's not a bust. He just had a short window.
All right. With that being said, let's get back to the Deshaun Watson thing. Deshaun Watson, obviously. What's your thoughts? Quotes, needle mover, and Dalton Smith.
I don't really have a say about that. I mean, it was just, in my opinion, it was BS from the beginning. I mean, it was like I said, regardless if they had legit proof or not. I just like it's just, in my opinion, it was just nonsense on the drum. It's just funny to me how all of a sudden you got all these lawsuits and whatnot when Deshaun Watson announces that he don't want to be in Houston no more. He want to play for a different team. He want to be a quarterback on a different team. It's kind of funny how all these supposedly lawsuits, all these females saying Watson did this, Watson did that. The commissioners and whatnot going around, everybody got a whole bunch of different stories. I never really gave much attention into it because I thought it was all for just publicity, in my opinion. But I just think it was BS from the jump because I never got interested into it because, like I said, it's just funny how all of a sudden Deshaun Watson announces he don't want to play in Houston no more. He want to go to a different team. Now it's all these lawsuits and whatnot to keep him in Houston. And he ended up finally, beating all those lawsuits and moved to Cleveland. But you see, we all know how long he was struggling with what was going on in Houston. All that happened out of nowhere. Like, it was just like kind of fishy to me. It's always been fishy. So now that he got another new lawsuit, now he in Cleveland. So most likely he gonna beat this lawsuit and he might be suspended for some games. Might see Watson suspended for 5 games maybe, and Baker Mayfield still might be on the Browns. Baker Mayfield gonna play 5 games. Deshaun Watson come in, and then so that's just how I see it for real.
Wow. Okay. Real quick. Quotes. I need Dalton and Quotes to tell me what they feel about it before I get into these comments. We do have Ramona Dye on the line as well. She still is on the line. Quotes, go ahead and shoot the spiel.
All right. I will first say I never want to be the person to say I don't believe these women or tell women that they are lying in a position like this. But to touch on a little bit on what Ben said, when these lawsuits first came out, the lawyer that was representing a lot of these women was a neighbor of the owner of the Texans. And I feel like that's a point that has went over a lot of people's heads when you try and decipher what's real and what's not real in this case. Do I think he's going to play again? Before this week and before what his lawyer said, I thought there was a chance Deshaun would play again. But after what his lawyer said that put that much guilt on that man, I do not believe there is a chance that this man plays another down in the NFL. And I don't think he should with the way they've handled this situation. Even if he is innocent, the way they have handled this situation, the comments that have come from lawyers, from Deshaun, the Browns' unwillingness to back him in the press conference when they introduced him, they were asked multiple times, do they believe he was innocent? And they couldn't give a straight answer to that. Because of all these things, I do believe Deshaun Watson does not play another down in the NFL again.
Dalton, your thought?
Well, it's me. I think it's getting ridiculous with this whole lawsuit thing. I don't believe he did it. I think it's a fishy, but I think they just do it to him because he wants out the Texans, and I feel like he's gonna get suspended. I don't think he's gonna be playing. But I do got a question for y'all. If D-Hop was still with the Texans, do you think Deshaun Watson would try to get out of Texans? Because I think the Texans ruined it. Deshaun Watson ever D-Hop got traded to the Cardinals. They didn't feel like it's been a downhill.
The desk can grab you a mask.
All right. Interesting thoughts.
I think Bill O'Brien, he sabotaged that. Bill O'Brien, that was Bill O'Brien's hand.
Okay. All right. Ramona wants to respond. Ramona, your thoughts, Ramona?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Your thoughts, Ramona.
I keep hearing a beeper. I'm not sure what that is.
No, that's the call line. Go ahead.
Okay. So basically, I'm not sure who's the guy who does the picture up or video. But everything that is, I agree with what he said. I said that actually before he said that. I told Marcus the other night, I think you'll be lucky to play another down. I think that he played his last game against to Dalton's comment, I really think that he didn't have anything to do with Dion. I think that a lot of these complaints were coming in before it was publicized, and at that point, I think Deshaun Watson wanted to get the hell out of Houston before anything blew up down there. But I think he waited too late to do that. And then all of a sudden, all these complaints started coming out about Deshaun Watson. And then the Houston Texans are backing off away from him. They're suspending for the year with pay. So he had a hell of a vacation. But everybody knows where there is smoke, there is fire. And I don't care that maybe one or two or three women, like I said, might have been in this up and going after money. But not 24 of it. You do not have, you know what, and we talked about this, if we wanted to go to the political side of things, about a certain president we had, who had all these women making complaints, and they still elected him as the president. So, you know, we don't know what's going to happen in this day and age. But I'll be honest with you, I think Roger Goodell is trying to tighten up the ship in the NFL. And I think that it's absolutely hideous if he allows him to play another game in the NFL.
All right.
Now,
go ahead.
there's something here because I am a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Quite honestly, I love watching Deshaun Watson play, and I would love to see him play. But I would also have to really face and stuff. And I don't have anything like the 20 women that come forward against you. I don't think it's all.
All right, we got another caller on the line too. I'm on to hold that dial. Don't go nowhere. All right. Caller, what's up?
How we doing?
Oh, okay. We got Sam Slade. We're gonna merge the calls because we got two callers on the line. I'm gonna open up the radio cast right now. You heard what Ramona said. Any thoughts about what Ramona said as we move on to the NBA playoffs shortly?
I agree, 100%. Unfortunately, I'm going to say Watson is a scumbag. He should be dealt with severely and swiftly.
Ooh, interesting enough on that. Ramona, your thought on that?
All right. Obviously, we lost Dre there for a second. He should be jumping back in here. I guess we lost I think he had too much stuff going on there. He lost our callers in. Bottom line is, listen, with today's day and age, you know, you look at situations like, you know, we just witnessed jumping off of the sports side, jumping back, just into what's going on in the news now. You look at a situation like with Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, and we look at something like Bill Cosby, and a lot of times, famous, powerful men get away with a lot of stuff. That's the bottom line, and that's in any facet. We saw a certain owner of an NFL team going to massage parlors and getting away with stuff, right? We saw a guy like Bill Cosby for all those years, the Jell-O pudding pop guy. You know what I'm saying? The Cosby Show. So people have their public face, and then things that go on in the back. But Roger Goodell has done it again and again, where we've seen guys get
football team ownership and all that debacle.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. We've seen certain stuff, and it seems kind of like a double standard. But Roger Goodell has consistently said that anybody who embarrasses the league, who disgraces the Shield, will be dealt with. So I just, but we also live in America where you're innocent until proven guilty. So I hope that there's, it's going to get resolved eventually. And more than likely, I wouldn't wager any money on it. Eventually, Deshaun Watson's going to have to face the music, and I just don't think it looks good for him. It just doesn't. Whether you think that's fair or unfair, I think he goes on the commissioner's exempt list initially, and then they go from there. So to be continued. As we get the information, we'll bring it to y'all. It's a fluid situation, and eventually it's going to be resolved.
Absolutely. Now, folks, I have to get into the NBA Finals. Got to get into the NBA Finals right now.
Hey, Andre, wait a minute, Andre. The caller before asked me a question, but I didn't hear the question.
Okay. Sam Slade, repeat what you said again.
I said I agree with the young lady what she had to say, 100%. And I said,
Andre.
Yes. What'd you say, Ramona? Hold tight, y'all. We getting this together. All right. Ramona, can you hear us?
I'm not to tell you. I can't hear his question. I can't hear anybody but you talking, Andre.
Okay, so you couldn't hear. I'm sorry, you couldn't hear Sam Slade. His comment.
It's you.
Okay. All right. So real quick, we'll fix that in just a minute. We'll get back to it. I promise you, Ramona. We'll get back to that question. Gotta get to the NBA playoffs. The playoffs, as we know right now, we are in the NBA Finals.
I gotta go. I can't stay on the phone any longer. So if you're gonna repeat this question to me,
got you. Definitely will. All right. With that being said, NBA Finals. It's game 2. Golden State won 107-88. I need to know your thoughts, starting with Marcus the Alphabets real quick, and we're going to go right down the line on game 2.
It's pretty much what I expected. Golden State is a generational team. We've seen certain dynasties. I don't know if they've been the dominant type dynasty of the Celtics or the Lakers or the Spurs, but for this era, I would say that they have been a dynasty. They kind of fell off. They had a bunch of injuries a couple of years ago when Draymond was out there by himself. Steph got hurt. Clay got hurt. The bottom line is they're 5-0 after they lose a game in the playoffs. And they're showing their championship medal. Now, once they start hitting their shots, they're a problem. They didn't really heat up until the third quarter, but when Steph is hitting his shots and Draymond's out there, doing his thing, rebounding, being a garbage man, rebounding, blocking shots, playing defense. Now Clay hasn't been as consistent, and this isn't the
Marcus. I do not like. Hold on, I got to stop you right there, Marcus. Okay. I do not like the term garbage man. What are you trying to say? Draymond's kicking tomato cans? Is that what you're saying?
No. That's actually when I call a guy garbage, he's that guy who's going to do the dirt. He's going to do the dirty work. He's Dennis Rodman with scoring ability. Is that a fair assessment of Draymond? I think Draymond is a better scorer than Dennis Rodman. I think Dennis Rodman was a better rebounder and better defensive player. But you need that garbage man on your team. You need the Charles Oakleys on your team. You need a guy like the Bruce Bowens type guys. You need guys like that. So
we are totally going to disagree right now.
And also debate. We've been used to seeing we got used to seeing the Golden State Warriors with Kevin Durant. With Kevin Durant, they were almost unstoppable because it's like if two of those guys were firing on all of their cylinders, if two of those guys were scoring and doing their thing, they were hard to beat. If three of them were going off with Steph and Clay and KD were going off, they're almost impossible to stop. They warmed up. They start hitting their shots. When they're hitting their threes, you live by the three, you die by the three. And when Steph Curry is he's hot, they're a problem. He started hitting his shot. They took off, went on a run in the third quarter, and it was lights out from there. So it's what I expected. That's the pattern that they've showed. They have a bad game, they lose a game, they come back and they play lights out. So it's what I expected.
So I'm going to say this right now. Number one, I totally disagree before we get to quotes, needle mover, and my guy Dalton Smith wave. Listen, Marcus, I get the whole Dennis Rodman comparison, but here's where you're wrong with Dennis Rodman. You said Draymond Green was a better scorer, is a better scorer. No, that is to never be determined. You want to know why that's never to be determined? Because Dennis Rodman chose not to score. It's not that Dennis Rodman could not score the basketball. It's that Dennis Rodman chose not to score the basketball.
What was his average? What was his average? His career average, Dennis Rodman? I think he averaged like 7 or 8 points a game. Maybe.
Can I ask you a question? Do you know what Draymond Green is known for? We literally call him the triple single. You know why we call him the triple single? Okay.
Globe and everything.
Okay. Do you not know why we call him the triple single? This mofo gonna give you 3 lean beef patties from McDonald's, the thin ass patties at that. Don't get me started. Marcus Betts always sir, he gonna give you 7 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists. Now wait,
that was almost his stat line last night. He had 9 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists.
Exactly. Exactly. Listen, Draymond Green is known for his defensive prowess, for being an emotional leader. He's known for energy and Marcus can't stop laughing right now.
Triple.
What is the truth?
What is it? What did Ice Cube say? Best around and got a triple single.
Yo, my brother is Mr. Triple Single Rocket, man. That's Draymond Green, man. I'm telling you, he is the triple cheeseburger from McDonald's. We lean fatties. I mean, them joints flat as a dash.
He's a high energy guy. He's not.
That's it. He's good.
Look, he's not one of my favorite players. Draymond Green really annoys me. Draymond Green, we talk about Spike and Chester. He's Spike and Chester, the little dog that follows Spike around. We're gonna get him, huh, Spike? We're the best team, huh, Spike? That's Draymond Green. That's Draymond. Draymond Green is a guy. He's a guy who's the water boy who's talking smack on the bench to the star player from the other team. That's what he is. It's like Steph can talk smack. KD can talk smack. Clay can talk smack. You cannot do that.
I already know that, I promise.
This is disrespectful.
It's like I saw an interview. They were asking Isaiah Thomas about the Dream Team. And he said, people think I have a lot of animosity towards Michael Jordan. He goes, if Michael didn't want me on the Dream Team, okay. If Magic didn't want me on the Dream Team, okay. But Scottie Pippen, Scottie Pippen saying that I can't be on the Dream Team, that's an issue. And that's what I feel with Draymond Green is that guy who averages 4 or 5 points, who's sitting on the bench saying, oh yeah, man, we're killing y'all. No, you can't say that. You cannot say that.
Disrespectful. Yo, I gotta read some comments real quick. Ramona said Marcus should have the same look on his face when hockey is mentioned right now. Said Marcus should just sit there and wait till football is mentioned.
Look, I don't really watch basketball I'm not watching 82 games, okay? I'm not watching 82 games. When the playoffs start, I am locked in. I'm not a big World Cup soccer guy. When it gets to the championships and stuff like that, I'll watch it, But I love football though. I'm not watching 162 baseball games. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it, bro. It ain't happening.
I said Marcus bets it shows. She's laughing her ass off right now. Dalton, your thoughts on game 2, my brother?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't watch the game because I was watching Hell in a Cell pay-per-view wrestling event. But I heard it's a pathetic game. But Warriors are too good. Well, I know we got game 3 on Wednesday. We got to see if the Warriors can win the finals without KD. Back in 2015, they won the finals without KD. 2016, didn't win. 17, 18, they did. 2019, when KD went down with the injury, Warriors lost. We got to see if they're going to win without KD this year. That's all I got to say.
They got championship pedigree. They definitely got championship. They won championships before KD. Now they were 73-9 before he got there the year before? 73. I mean, they didn't win the championship, but that's the all-time single season record. So they can win without him.
I'm just going to put this out there right now.
Sorry, Trey.
Oh no, go ahead, Dalton.
Just in case if the Warriors do win the finals, do y'all think they're compared to the 80s Bulls with Michael Jordan, Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen, those guys?
Say what now?
If the Warriors win the finals, do y'all compare the 80s Bulls with Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Dennis Rodman?
The 90s Bulls. The 90s Bulls. What, five championships?
Yep.
That'd be 5, wouldn't it?
No, 4.
Oh, 4.
That's 4? I thought Steph had 4 already.
No, he has 3. He won 1 by himself and 2 with KD.
Okay.
Quotes.
That's right. That's right up there. That's 4 championships. My issue is if Steph Curry wins this, has he passed LeBron James?
Oh, don't even ask that question.
I'm asking. He will be tied. He will be tied with championships. He'll be tied with championships with LeBron. We got to start asking those questions.
That's a great question. Because I had that thought in mind a while ago, but then I erased that thought, and I'm gonna tell you why in a minute. But quotes.
What up?
Wait, let me introduce, by the way, that we have Las Vegas' own Rocco Raquelli in the house too. Rocco, what's good, Rock? I know he's
Hey,
here.
Andre. Yeah, I just got off of work, so that's why I wasn't here for the first hour. Yeah, I couldn't debate Marcus on his BS with Baker Mayfield, but I digress. I will say when it comes to the NBA Finals, it's going to be great to talk about.
Ouch. By the way,
I want to hear.
Celtics in 6, baby. Boston Celtics in 6.
All right, so we will get back to that debate later on at the end of the show. You and Marcus could debate that part at the end of the show. Final thoughts, things of that nature. I do have Sam Slade, NCW, on the line as well. I know he wants to say something about this, but quotes real quick. Go ahead and talk about these playoffs, man. I know you itching to talk about Marcus's disrespect.
Oh, the crazy disrespect of the X factor of that Warriors team, Draymond Green. This Warriors team, it's so interesting to see them take that 2-year layaway off, not give up any of their young prospects or picks that they had, and not even rebuild, but kind of just recharge, I guess you could say. And it's interesting because the Celtics are by far the best team I feel they've played in these playoffs, but they don't got a Draymond. And in a finals, in a series like this, you need a Draymond. You need a Patrick Beverly. You need a Rasheed Wallace. You need a guy that's just going to get in the heads of other players on the other teams. You need a guy that's going to bring you momentum when you need it, which is why there's a running joke with my friends that Draymond is the best player in the league of all time, that I always say this, and they give me crap for it all the time. But if you look at this series for what it is, they don't really have anyone that can stop a Draymond Green from having the impact he does. They don't really have, even Marcus Smart, no one's going to stop Curry from doing what he does. No one in this planet can, I don't believe. And you look at other pieces on that team, like a Jordan Poole, who's starting to come into his own, with Clay not really being Clay right now and just coming back and really getting meshed into the lineup. Someone said Boston in 6. I say Warriors in 5. Gentlemen.
Ooh. Sam Slade, you on the line. Sam, what you think about game 2?
I thought that Golden State was the better team and they wanted to win more than Boston. Boston was flat.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I'm going to tell y'all this right now. First and foremost, when you give up 15 live ball turnovers, that shows a lack of energy thereof, a lack of passion. Golden State turned those 15 turnovers into 33 points, by the way. Here's another thing.
I'm going to assume you're saving the best for last, huh?
Skip. Yo, listen, don't you look.
I got Celtics.
I almost want to go to my Shannon Sharp boys. I almost want to say skip.
I want to respond to the garbage man comment that I made, because I think it might have been taken out of context. When I say a garbage man, that is not meant as a derogatory term. Garbage man to me is the guy who does the dirty work. You can't have 4 Michael Jordans on your team. You need that one guy on the team, the enforcer, the guy you need the Bruce Bowen from the Spurs. You know, a defensive eight, the Charles Oakley, the Anthony Masons, the guys like that who are the garbage men, the guy who's sliding across the floor, getting rebounds, taking the charges and stuff like that. So when I say garbage man, I'm not calling Draymond Green a garbage player. I'm saying he does the dirty work. That's what I meant by that.
That was my fault. I was sitting up here fire starting a little bit.
Yeah. I didn't want that. I didn't want to take that out of context.
Wave got his mouth tooted up. He said he ain't buying it. But listen, I just put this out there real quick.
Well, I wasn't gonna say much anyways if you came to me, but I was just gonna say Celtics is 7 anyway. So yeah, that's all I got to say. I don't know why everybody just got this term about the Warriors. Yeah, they set a lot of screens. We got our Draymond. Curry can shoot, whatever. If you watch playoffs, and I could debate this with anybody, if you watch playoffs, Curry is not clutch in the playoffs at all. Curry not clutch at all. He's not clutch. He has clutch moments. I'm not going to say he hasn't had clutch moments, but when it matters, Curry is not clutch at all. He's not. And he didn't have much help in game 1, whereas, like, as terms of points, of course, as they lost. He didn't have much help. But, I mean, Curry, what happened to Curry? And what happened to Curry in the second quarter? What happened to Curry in the fourth quarter?
That's the thing. To me, the Warriors are most dangerous. Go ahead, bro.
What happened to Curry in the fourth quarter? Curry disappeared completely. Second quarter, he didn't even score points. He scored 0 points in the first quarter. You turned your juice up for the first quarter. Everybody, yeah, y'all said that about Curry. Marcus Smart could do this to Curry. Yeah, he could do that. Curry just dropped 31 points or 21 points, whatever. Then what happened? Second quarter, he disappeared. He didn't make no shots. Third quarter, he turned up a little bit. Okay, cool. Fourth quarter, he disappeared again. Curry's not clutch at all.
Can you count on that to be sustainable?
It's been, say that one more time.
Can you count on that to be sustainable? Can you count on Curry?
Yes, I can. For Curry not being clutch, I'm not talking about his gameplay and shooting wise. I'm talking about clutch moment. As in being clutch, Curry isn't clutch. Not like I said, I don't take it away from him for not having clutch moments, but he's not clutch in the playoffs when it really matters. When it's time for it to come down and for it to matter, Curry isn't clutch. And part of that is like how Marcus said, part of it came from injuries and whatnot and all that. So, it's a lot to deal with, especially that the Warriors is Curry team, so Curry's the leader. It's a lot to deal with. But he's not clutch at all. And as I see it, if don't nobody else see it, I think the Celtics defense is definitely about to turn up. They're going to turn up. And I'm not going to say the Warriors not going to turn up because everybody know the Warriors is like that. They're a good team. They're a generational team, like Marcus said again. Give them more credit to Marcus. They are a generational talent team. But I don't think people should count the Celtics out just because they don't have a Draymond on their team. Everybody's different in their own way. And I just feel like I'm not counting the Warriors out because I don't like them. I just feel like the Celtics team is hungrier. You got the Warriors who are the veterans who won another ring, and you got the Celtics team who just beat the hardest gauntlet in the NBA this season for the playoffs. And now they're in the finals where they wanted to be at 4 years ago when they lost to LeBron, because we all know how LeBron is. Now they're at it where they wanted to be in 2022. They're in the finals. And I just think that maybe it hasn't shown lately with Jason Tatum and the Celtics, but I just feel like the Celtics want it more. So I have, in my opinion, the Celtics are going to win in 7. Like I said, I won't be surprised, though. In my opinion, I won't be surprised if the Warriors win because, again, they are a generational talent team. They're like that, whatever. I have the Celtics winning in 7 because I don't think nobody should count Jason Tatum out just because, or the Celtics team, period, but mostly Jason Tatum because he's the star in that team. I don't think nobody should count Jason Tatum out just because of how he played in the first 2 games. You still got a lot of basketball left. It's the first to 4, like Klay Thompson said. Not the first to 1, not the first to 2. It's the first to 4.
But even game 1, the Celtics were outplayed for 3 quarters.
Who won the game? But who won the game?
Everybody keeps talking about Draymond Green being the X factor. To me, the X factor, the person who really needs to step it up, is Klay.
Yes, Marcus. Yes, and I'm
Klay is the guy because I kind of disagree with I agree and disagree with you to an extent when it comes to Steph Curry. Everybody needs a wingman.
Right.
That's his wingman.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jordan had Scottie Pippen. Tim Duncan had Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker.
Yep.
You can't do it by yourself because if you go to the finals and it's just you out there, you know what you are? Allen Iverson against the Lakers. That's what you are. You're gonna go out there. You're gonna get your point. You're gonna get your points, and you're gonna get smashed in five games. So you got to have and Klay. He's coming back from that injury, and he's not the Klay that we've been used to seeing. I think we can all agree with that.
Yes, sir.
So to me, the person who really needs to step their game up is Klay, because when those two were hitting their shots. And they're tag teaming, and they're just what the Splash Brothers? Well, if only one's out there, if only one of the Splash Brothers out there, it's kind of hard. You need both of them because it creates the spacing. It gives great spacing. It makes things a little bit easier for Wiggins and for Drake and Draymond in the paint. So I think Klay really has to step it up. He's going to be the X factor in this game.
Okay, sir. Okay. I hear all that good stuff.
Celtics in 6, because I agree with Wade. Like, don't count the Celtics. I mean, they've been fighting against the hardest team in the NBA playoffs. I think the Celtics, they're underdog. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Warriors win. I wouldn't be surprised if the Celtics win. But Celtics, don't count on Celtics. That's all I got to say.
I think, me personally, I got a very, very hot take. I might have a lot of disagreements for this hot take, but I'm super agreeable on what Marky says. I'm a Klay fan. I don't like the Warriors. I only like Klay Thompson. But to be honest, if y'all think about it or not, Klay Thompson's not going to be a Warrior. Not much longer. He won't be a Warrior much longer. He won't be because everything what Marcus just said on how Klay Thompson been playing in the Klay Thompson that we're used to, that hasn't been shown. That hasn't been shown lately. And I think you'll give Klay Thompson maybe a year or two before the Warriors start talking about trade options for Klay Thompson. I mean, they did 2 years ago.
You're fading in and out. Your mic is.
Klay Thompson did say himself
there you go.
that he wanted to be on a team where he can be a leader. You know, where it's like, you know, not everything about him, but where he can be like the leader and seem like how Curry is to the Warriors. So I don't think Klay Thompson will be a Warrior much longer. I think Jordan Poole, low-key, is stepping up to that role of what Klay Thompson is supposed to be to Curry as his splash brother. Jordan Poole is younger. He has Klay Thompson. He's healthier. I think they're going to push more to build around Curry eventually with the young start that they have. You still got Wiseman. You still got Kuminga. You still got Poole. You got the guy, Gary Payton Jr. You know, it's a lot of young stars in the team that they're really about to show you they're going to build around Curry. Klay Thompson will not be a Warrior much longer. I give it take or two. You give Klay Thompson maybe 2 more years before the Warriors decide to move on from Klay Thompson.
All right. With that being said, I got my guy Rocco Kelly in the building. You know what? I'm gonna let Rocco go first, and then I'm gonna summarize all of this. Yeah, there's a lot of here. I got Jay Andre in the building too. Jay Andre,
what's going on?
What's up, Jay Andre?
What's going on, boys?
What's up, bro?
Well, when you were talking about Klay Thompson, I actually talked about this on my show recently, and I said that when it came to Klay Thompson, his contract is one of the biggest in the NBA. So if you are going to move him with his current contract, you have to find a team that can handle that kind of deal. What I think is going to happen is that once his contract is up, then he will go someplace else. As long as you're getting paid near $40 million a year, and considering what has happened to Klay Thompson the last 2 seasons, I just don't know if any team will be willing to take on that deal, understand the injuries and everything.
Correct.
I think he's always wanted to go to the Lakers where his daddy played.
Yeah,
he's talked about that numerous times. I think you find Klay Thompson on the Lakers in the next 2 years, going back.
Hey, you know what? How about this? You trade LeBron James to the Warriors, and you get Klay Thompson.
On your bed.
You trade AD. You send him home to Chicago. You send him home to the Bulls. You get Zach LaVine, and you trade Russell Westbrook for a bag of peanuts.
Zach LaVine going to Portland this offseason.
All right, so real quick, I want to summarize everything that I heard. Jay Andre, real quick. Matter of fact, Jay Andre in the building, man. I gotta let Jay Andre say something real quick. Go ahead, Jay Andre.
Man, I got the Warriors in 6. First of all, man, Benjamin, you my brother, man. I love you, but that hot garbage was coming out your mouth by Steph Curry, man. You should be arrested for such blasphemy. First of all,
hot garbage.
First of all, the way the Warriors team was built and set up, he don't have to be clutch because they're blowing teams out by the end of the third quarter. By the fourth quarter, he's sitting on the bench. He doesn't have to be clutch. The way the team is set up with Steph Curry, with Draymond Green, when they had KD, they had before KD, they had Harrison Barnes and all that. He didn't have to be clutch because they had a culture where they was hitting threes and they was blowing teams out by the time they hit the fourth quarter. So that's one. Secondly, the Warriors going to win in 6 because, yes, I like the Celtics, and they got a nice young squad, but they just not ready yet. I mean, yeah, they beat the Nets, but, I mean, the Nets is the biggest disaster, I think, in NBA history with 2 of the top 3 offensive people right now in the NBA. They beat the Bucks, they beat the Heat, but, I mean, the Warriors is a dynasty. They're the NBA's dynasty right now. They about to hit their 4th championship in 6, 7, 8 years. So Curry don't have to be clutch. He don't have to be clutch. I mean, come on, the disrespect for Curry, the greatest shooter of our time, just
disrespect. Bro, Curry don't have to be clutch. I give her take. DeAndre, you tell me this. If you think Curry didn't let his foot off in the gas in the second quarter and the fourth quarter, do you think the Warriors would have won?
Which game you talking about? This past game?
Game one. If he didn't take his foot off the gas in the second quarter, because he didn't score a drop in the second quarter, if he didn't take his foot off in the gas in the second and fourth quarter, do you think the Warriors would have lost? Because I don't. I think the Warriors would have won. I think they would have won. He let his foot off the gas. In 2019, when they played the Raptors, Klay Thompson got injured. Curry looked like a lost kid out there. He looked like a lost kid out there. He didn't know what to do.
There's a word that I use all the time, and it pertains to all sports. Pedigree.
Yes, sir.
Pedigree. And when you have pedigree, you can have off nights or whatever, but generally the teams with pedigree, football, basketball, baseball, whatever, when you have pedigree, eventually cream is going to rise to the top. You might have, a quarter or two or a half or a game where you shoot bad, but eventually that pedigree is going to kick in. That's just the way it works.
Speaking of pedigree,
does pedigree come to teams though? Does pedigree when it comes to teams? Is that what you're talking about? Or
well, when you have players that have championship pedigree, you have players on that team who have been in battles. They're battle tested. So when they start getting behind or what, it's like we played in finals against LeBron and we overcame LeBron James. We're not scared of the Celtics. I'm sorry. I mean, we've seen teams that one of the great, LeBron James has been considered, maybe the best player of this generation, and we beat him in the finals. We're not scared of we're not scared of the Celtics. They're a young and upcoming team. They got some great players, but we're the Warriors. And generally people with pedigree, that's what they look. That's how they feel. They feel like they always have it. Rudy Tomjanovich, a few years back, do you remember his quote? Never underestimate the heart of a champion. Don't ever do that, because if you do that, that's a deadly mistake.
Now, with that being said about pedigree, I need to dog walk this conversation. I really need to dog walk it. I hear a whole lot of stuff going on in this conversation that sounds real good. And then I hear some other things that I'm just like, okay, well, it's good to have a difference of opinion. But
hey, man, all I know is I got proof that Curry ain't clutch.
No, it's all good. And I ain't even mad about that, because actually, in retrospect, you're right about Stephen Curry not being clutch at the clutchest moments. You're right about that. Anybody who says that you're wrong about that is wrong. I agree with that 110%. But
he's not clutch like Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, tight, y'all. Oh, tight. I hear y'all. I look. They jump. They ready to bite. They ready to bite.
How are you not clutching your MVP? I don't understand.
No, Marcus.
What you mean?
Hold on. Time out. Benjamin, I got this. I got you.
What you mean?
It's not about being clutch as a player and during the season in moments in time. We talking about when the chips are stacked and when the lights are the brightest. Stephen Curry at times has definitely dwindled his light. His light has definitely been diminished in some NBA finals and some playoff games. Absolutely. I mean, he's not lying about it. I'm one who literally watches it and coaches it, and I'm in agreement with that. But what I wanted to say is some stuff about game 2. First and foremost, number 1, when Moses Moody has just as many points in 6 minutes as 3 of your starters in Boston, oh, yes, I'm calling them out. Al Horford, oh, yeah, Marcus Smart, Robert Williams III. All 3 of those starters had 2 points yesterday, by the way. 2 points. 2! You can't buy a bucket. Al Horford didn't even get a 3-point shot off in game 2. That's crazy. Now, if you want to know the difference between game 1 and game 2, game 1, they was too focused on Jaylen Brown, and they was too focused on Jason Tatum. And Tatum may have had an off night, but he dropped 13 dimes on those boys. And in the fourth quarter, they got stormed. I mean, Boston turned up on defense crazy. It was like they were sitting back. They're like, yep, we still in striking distance. And as soon as the fourth quarter came, they struck Golden State. They warriored the Warriors. They was 51% from 3-point range in game 1. Go look at what Boston was from the 3-point in game 2. Al Horford, once again, didn't even get a shot off from 3-point land. You got Marcus Smart with 2 points sitting on the bench with his green colored hair. They made sure they zoomed in on his hair, because that's the only thing he had going for him in game 2. And Robert Williams III, sir, is now injured, by the way. For those who do not know, he is injured, who is an enforcer to this Boston Celtics team. Some kind of if you want a great value Draymond Green without the talk, without the shit talk. That's Robert Williams III, and he's injured now. There's nobody to match Draymond Green with that type of intensity, and I think that's going to play a major factor in Game 3 and Game 4. I want to call out somebody. Skip, I almost want to sound like Shannon Sharp. Skip, a.k.a. Mookie Hawkins. Mookie, I see you in about an hour. Mookie, I'm going to see you on Waffle Sports. Mookie, I told you Game 2 what was going to happen. I'm calling you right out on the show right now. I told you what was going to happen. Game 2, Golden State with the championship pedigree, with Steve Kerr as a coach who has won championships and has coached champions. Did you think Steve Kerr was going to allow that to happen again? Could you imagine if Golden State would have went down 2-0 to the Boston Celtics? Yo, there was people literally, i.e. Skip, a.k.a. Mookie Hawkins, talking about bringing out the brooms and dustpans.
What?
Oh, yes. I got
not Mookie, no.
Oh, yes. Mookie, oh, yes. You're going to hear it tonight, too. He was literally, him and another guy was ready to bring out the brooms and dustpans, saying, oh, yeah, if it's over at Game 2, they might as well not bring a dog to the fight. I said, okay, we're going to see. I'm telling you right now, Golden State has made the adjustments. You see it in Game 2. Instead of being up 12 points in the third quarter, they was up 23. Did you see that? Doubled up on them boys. Made Marcus Smart and them go sit the bench in the fourth quarter. Go put in your reserves. Get ready to go back to Boston. It's gonna be real. I'm telling you right now.
What happens when Klay Thompson start hit shot?
So watch this, Marcus, and I'm glad you mentioned that. You mentioned Klay Thompson, and I'm glad that you mentioned Klay Thompson. We talked about Stephen Curry at one point in the playoffs being on the bench. Do you remember that? The pool party was in. Y'all talk about Splash Brothers. Well, the pool party is here. Jordan Poole is phenomenal. And guess what? It's allowed Klay Thompson to be who he is right now, which is somebody trying to get back into the action. The pool party is here. The other Splash Brother is trying to rehabilitate still.
If he starts hitting his shots, it's over.
When you got Andrew Wiggins who can score, when you got Klay, when you got Draymond Green getting physical with folks and getting in people's heads and things of that nature. When you got Stephen Curry doing what he's doing, just cooking, baby. Stephen Curry is just cooking out there. I'm watching him hitting shots from the sign like it's nobody's business. Listen, that is a recipe for disaster for Boston if they don't go make adjustments with that first-year coach that they got, who's a phenomenal coach, by the way. But if they don't make adjustments in Game 3, Golden State will be winning Game 3 too. I'm telling you this right now. It looks ugly because let's not forget, in Game 1, they did win 1, 2, 3 quarters and backed off in the fourth quarter. This series could very well have been 2-0. Golden State going to Boston. It's 1-1. We're going to see what's going to happen in Game 3. We'll see what happens in Game 3 for sure. Will Paul score 26 again? I doubt it. Will Marcus Smart score 21 again? I doubt it. I highly doubt it. Now, Rocco, you said the Celtics in 6. How?
Celtics in 6. Here's what's going to happen.
I agree with Brock on that one.
Boston, they're going to win Game 3. They're going to win Game 4. Golden State's going to win Game 5. And then Boston's going to come home. They're going to win Game 6. That's the way I see it. I see it that the way that this series is being brought up, the way it's being presented. Boston won Game 1. Good for them. Golden State, they came back and dominated Game 2. Congratulations. But you're heading back home. You're heading to Boston for Game 3 and Game 4. And there really is no more home field advantage. There really is no better team when it comes to being at home than Boston. So I'm going to say when you got Boston, Game 3 and Game 4 being at the Garden, I got them winning Game 3 and Game 4. Golden State will win Game 5 at home, and then Game 6, Boston will wrap it up at the Garden.
Interesting enough.
By the way, I got Jaylen Brown winning MVP.
Whoa, Rocco, let's not get carried away, my friend. Let's not get carried away, my brother. Now, although I do not like the Warriors at all, So that is a very, very, very bold take for you to say the Celtics.
Right, he real confident.
2 times in a row. You said the Celtics is gonna beat the Warriors in 2. We talking about the Warriors, bro. 2 times.
I'm talking about the Golden State Warriors.
Wait.
Absolutely. They're gonna win at the Garden.
Even the Warriors in the finals, though, twice in the series.
This is the NBA Finals. Yes, that's correct.
You realize that the Celtics is not LeBron James or Kyrie Irving. They not LeBron.
They don't have to be.
Kinda do.
They don't have to be.
You kinda do.
Why do you have to be LeBron or Kyrie? I mean, didn't the Toronto Raptors beat Golden State Warriors not a couple of years ago?
Whoa, time out.
Kawhi Leonard beat the Warriors.
Big difference.
Kawhi Leonard beat
Yeah,
the
that's a
Warriors.
major difference. I'm gonna tell you why. Because
Kawhi
Clay was
Leonard
hurt and
beat the
so was KD. Clay was hurt and
Hey,
so
it
was
still
KD
happened,
in that
didn't it?
series.
But hold on, but didn't they still beat the Warriors?
Yes, they beat the Warriors, but they beat injured, depleted Warriors. And here's the thing,
right.
Rocco. Hold on. I gotta say this.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, Ben. I got you. I gotta say this. The Warriors that you see now are very similar to the Warriors you seen win the first time. Very, very similar to the Warriors you seen win the first time. They're damn near similar to the Warriors you seen put up 73 wins. Let me just tell you. I mean, the pool party is there. Andrew Wiggins is there. Steph Curry is there. Draymond Green is there. Oh, and let me not mention that Kayvon Looney has been playing damn well in these finals, in these playoffs, sir, as the big man. Sir, this looks like 2015 Warriors. The first beatdown of LeBron James, the first one, this team looks like that one, sir. And if they are all cylinders, sir, I highly doubt Boston wins 2 games in a row. And I'm going to tell you why. I told this to Mookie, and this still stands true. You literally, in basketball, have about 75 to 80 possessions a game, right? You put up about 80 shots a game, right? You literally have to stop the Warriors at least 25 times, at least 25 to 30 times in order to even have a chance, let alone you got to score at least 5 to 6.
And when they're hitting their threes, they'll blow you out the building.
Oh, yeah. The Warriors is a team that can be down 20 and beat you 20. The Warriors is a team that can be down 20 and beat you 20.
They can beat you 30, actually. Shoot, they can beat you 30. I mean, down by a lot. They beat you by 30.
You got to be real confident to tell me that Boston convincingly walks into the Garden and beats them 2 games in a row.
Nah.
Really?
Nah.
You see that happening? Listen, we gonna clip that.
You look at comparison. The thing with them, when you have a team that can just go on runs, 20 to nothing runs. I mean, I always compared I always compare Golden State to like the Chiefs in football, where you're up, they jump on you, then you're playing catch up the whole game, or you jump on them and then they come back and they put up, they score 35 points. They always have a scorer's chance. So it's tough, but it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting to see how it plays out, because you got the young up and coming Celtics, and then you got the old grizzled veteran Warriors. So we're gonna definitely find out. But what I want to know, I said something about Baker Mayfield, Rock.
Oh yeah, let's get to that last 5 minutes of the show right here. Last 5 minutes, folks.
What did I say about Baker? Go ahead.
Hey, look, I'll say this.
Okay.
Marcus, I was listening to the show. I had my headphones on, my earbuds in when I was at work, because, of course, I couldn't be on the show for the first half hour. And the way you're talking about Baker Mayfield and your argument was, when it comes to a superstar quarterback, when it comes to an MVP-type level quarterback, when was the last time a number 1 pick was that guy? When was the last number 1 overall pick that was for the last 10 or 15 years been the guy that you described?
Okay. Number 1 overall picks. Now, once again, I don't need you to be super flashy. We've seen that you can win Super Bowls without a guy who's a superstar. Hell, Trent Dilfer has a ring. But as a number 1 overall pick, Peyton Manning was never that guy?
No, I
Is
said
he
in the
one
last
number
10 or 15 years, has there been a quarterback who's been drafted number 1 overall that has been the guy?
Okay, I think that's more have to do with the teams, like your Bears, who don't know how to draft quarterbacks very well.
Yeah, we've never had a number 1 pick in that time span. So
yeah, and you show what you would do with that number 1 pick. When you draft a guy number 1, what is your expectations for that guy? I'm asking you. What is if I say you have the so let me ask you this. I'll give you another example. Who was the number 1 pick? Who was the number 1 pick in the NFL draft this in April? Quay Walker, Trey Walker,
Trayvon Walker.
Trayvon Walker.
Okay, now if you drafted him number 1 and Aiden Hutchinson goes out and balls out, or Jordan Davis goes out and balls out, and Trey Walker doesn't pan out, what are we going to call Trey Walker?
Dan Wilkinson.
We're going to call him a bust because you look at who comes after him, and you look and you say, we could have had this guy. Let me ask you this. And hindsight's always 20/20. If you could go back and redraft the 2018 draft, would Baker Mayfield go number 1, or would Josh Allen go number 1?
Josh Allen.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. When you
would it be Josh or Lamar? Lamar got an MVP now.
Or Lamar. But it damn sure wouldn't be no Baker Mayfield, and that's where I get the bust from. It's because you look at what you
Lamar.
Huh? I did.
No, sir. Lamar Jackson would not have went over Josh Allen. Are you serious? Not a chance. Stop that.
I mean, we can have that debate.
No, Marcus. No, there's no debate on that.
I got you.
I'm not saying I take Lamar over Josh Allen.
I'm gonna tell you why.
We all could agree, though. I think we all could agree. Baker Mayfield would not go number 1 over Quentin Nelson, over Minkah Fitzpatrick, over Nick Chubb, over Jair Alexander. Those are the players that went after him. So when you look at players that come after, and you're the number 1 pick, and these teams are looking back and they're saying, do you think if the Bears could go back, that they would have taken Mitchell Trubisky number 2 over Patrick Mahomes or Deshaun? Well, maybe you would take Deshaun Watson. Maybe you wouldn't take Deshaun Watson number 2 overall. But you ain't taking no damn Mitchell Trubisky at number 2. That's why we call him a bust. So yes, that's what I'm saying. When you draft a guy number 1 or number 2, you expect him to be at least a competent starter, Pro Bowls, All Pros, Super Bowls. Not everybody gonna get the Super Bowl, but can you make a Pro Bowl? At least a Pro Bowl?
Well, I mean, to be fair, Mitchell Trubisky did make a Pro Bowl. So
hold on.
Okay, but again, when you look at the quarterbacks that went after him, Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, throw out all the happy endings. If you had it to do again, Rocco, now you called me out. I'm calling you out. If you had it to do again, and you had to move from number 4 to number 2 to draft Mitchell Trubisky, would you take Patrick Mahomes or would you take Deshaun Watson over Mitchell Trubisky? Answer the question.
If hindsight's 20/20 and I'm moving up from the 3rd pick to the 2nd pick, I'm taking Myles Garrett because Myles Garrett has been one of the best defensive players in the NFL.
On 2, would you take Mitchell Trubisky at number 2? Would he be in the top 10? Would he be in the top 10 in picks? Would he be in the top 10?
He'd be top 15, top 20.
Do you see? That's where the bust factor comes in. When you draft a guy and you look at all the guys after him, you're like, I could have had this guy. I could have had this guy. I could have had this guy. Denzel Ward went at number 4. He's on his 2nd contract with the Browns, and he's the highest. I don't think he's the highest paid no more. Somebody jumped over him. Jair Alexander. Jair jumped over him. And you draft Baker Mayfield number 1. So yes, say it, everybody together. Baker Mayfield is a
He's a bust.
Bust.
Thank you.
I just want to say this right now. Sam Slade is in the building on the phone line still. I just want to say this real quick. Y'all better keep this same. And I don't want to get off. I don't want to get off topic, but y'all better keep this same energy consistently. When I tell you that this has been one hell of a great show, this has been one hell of a great show. I'm gonna be honest. I am so happy to see Rocco Raquelli back. I'm so happy to see Jay Andre, Quotes, Marcus, Dalton, Wave, all you guys. I'm super ecstatic for this to see y'all, and I'm serious. I'm not trying to have no emotional moments, but I'm dead serious. I'm so happy to see this. This has been one heck of a show, and I'm telling you, if we can continue to be consistent with this, I'm telling you, I feel like 2022 will be a great year for Sports Talk. I promise you, this is where it's at, man. For y'all that's not tuned in, I feel sorry for y'all. This y'all fault for not tuning in, but y'all need to tune into this, man. For real, for real. This has been a whole lot of fun. And quotes, how dare you say Lamar Jackson would have went before Josh Allen?
That's not what I said. I said there's a debate to be made because Lamar does have an MVP.
Wait a minute. How dare you even say it's a debate? I'm not understanding how you could ever say there's a debate. If wishes was fishes, sir, we all be aquatic animals. I'm telling you right now. Let me tell you why. Because Josh Allen still went in the top 10 regardless of all that stuff Lamar did at Louisville, and Lamar Jackson went dead last in the first round. It don't matter if Josh
Allen went dead last in the first round, and he's the only one out of that group that has an MVP. And there's a quarterback. There's 3 1,000-yard rushing seasons for a quarterback.
Oh, absolutely.
And Lamar Jackson has 2 of them.
I give him that, but it's not about that. Marcus, it's not. Hold on, Marcus, though. It's not about that. It's about what you look like and what you bring. Josh Allen at 6'6" with a rocket launcher arm, if he was in any Power 5 school, would have went before Baker Mayfield. Even with what Baker Mayfield did in Oklahoma, he would have went first.
I think that speaks to how bad Josh Allen was in college. You're 6'5" with a rocket launcher arm, and you can't get any.
And he went. Hold on, watch this, Marcus, and he still went top 10. As bad as it is coming out of Wyoming, if he goes to Florida State, he's in a different culture, different coaching, different talent, playing different competition with different skill set. The guy goes number one.
If you put Lamar Jackson with the wide receivers that Oklahoma has, or you put Lamar Jackson with Alabama with Derrick Henry, with his rushing ability.
He played at a top. He played in a Power 5
school.
Louisville.
Louisville is known for baseball bats.
They don't care. Louisville went ACC. It don't matter. Louisville still played Florida State. Louisville still played Miami.
Yes, where he had to carry the whole team by himself. Where he had to carry the whole team. Name me another player that Lamar Jackson played with in college. Anybody?
You got that. That's not my argument. Marcus, that's not my argument. My argument is off of the simple fact that Josh Allen gives you Ben Roethlisberger vibes with a better cannon, a better arm, bigger built, and he didn't go to a Power 5 school. I'm telling you now, if he were in any Power 5 school, he is definitely number one.
What they were looking, his accuracy was so atrocious.
It was.
You say Ben Roethlisberger. That's not who they were comparing him to. The person that they were comparing Josh Allen to coming out of college was Blake Bortles, because he was 6'5" with a rocket launcher arm too, with mobility. He was terrible. He was absolutely terrible.
He didn't get the Blake Bortles treatment. He didn't get the Blake Bortles treatment, though.
Well, I mean, Blake Bortles too. Blake Bortles came out for a couple of years. Let's not forget that the Jags went to the AFC Championship and beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, the old Pittsburgh Steelers, in 2017.
by the way,
And here's the thing: you got to do it year in and year out. Josh Allen, he's had his first year trash. Second year, he has his first 300-yard passing game, his third season. Correct. In a passing league where all of the rules are geared towards the offense, and he doesn't throw for 300 yards until his third year.
Correct.
Lamar Jackson had a 300-yard passing game. And he gets called a running back playing quarterback.
Hold on, watch this though, Marcus. And that's funny. That's funny that you say that because it took until Ken Dorsey, who played in the ACC, who set records in the ACC in Miami, to come in and be the quarterback's coach for Josh Allen to become who Josh Allen is.
Josh Allen became Josh Allen when he got Stephon Diggs. Give Lamar Jackson Stephon. Give him a number one receiver. Give him a number one. Give Lamar Jackson the number one receiver. When the best receiving threat on your team is Mark Edwards or Mark Andrews, who's the best receiver on the Ravens? Receiver. Now, everybody complains about Lamar Jackson not being able to throw the ball. Josh Allen in the first season is throwing 58% completion rate. Nobody says anything. Nothing.
I did.
But when Lamar Jackson does, he's a running back playing quarterback. It just kills me with the.
Marcus, you know why that is, though. You know that.
I'm just saying. It drives me crazy when people make excuses and they're like, well, look at this. He doesn't have anybody. And look, he's 58% completion. 58% completion, but he gets the benefit of the doubt. Lamar Jackson's out there with
he never got it from me.
With midget receivers, and he's a running back playing quarterback.
I dogged him week after week. You know that.
Hey,
by the way, there's two things I want to point out.
Might let him in. I think he's backstage.
Yeah. Hey, there's two things I want to point out. First off, Marcus, I don't know if you were being sarcastic or not, but Louisville, they had this great defensive player named Jair Alexander. I don't know if you heard of him, but he was with Louisville at the same time as Lamar Jackson.
Okay, and you know what? And Lamar Jackson's playing against Deshaun Watson in the ACC with T. Higgins and guys like that.
Right.
Okay, so you look at who he's playing against,
right?
And he's the only person out there basically playing by himself. I think that's kind of. I mean, that's kind of that they even won a bunch of games, considering he had no supporting cast. That speaks a lot to me.
Right. And then the second thing, Andre, you were talking about Ken Dorsey. You were talking about Miami. They weren't in the ACC when Ken Dorsey was lighting up college football. They weren't in the ACC back then.
Oh, that's what.
They were the Big East back then.
They were the Big East.
That was the Big East. That was the Big East, a.k.a. That's like, okay, Rocco. The Big East was still popping back then. Hold on, time out. Watch this. The Big East was still popping. I'm sorry. The Big East, a.k.a. East High School / traditional. Come on, bro. You know exactly what I'm talking about, and you know exactly where I'm going with the conversation. He still played in a conference that was top. That was top back then. That's why Miami got so much recognition for being who they are and one of the greatest teams of all time in the Big East, right? Because the Big East was nothing. Come on, stop it, Rocco. The fact that you even brought that up, that he played in the Big East, I
just wanted to make sure.
I like that you put that out there because that's true. He did play in the Big East. I forgot the ACC wasn't Miami's back then, but still in all, sir, the competition was still great. Ken Dorsey came there and made Josh Allen who he is. Let's be clear. Let's not do this. Let's not play games about that. And yes, 58% completion rate in Marcus. Yes, I dogged Josh Allen week after week after week after week, and the whole entire coaching staff the whole time in 2018. And we could go back to the clips. I dogged him every week for that. So
I will say Josh Allen has no excuses now. They put that on record. Like, if Josh Allen doesn't win a Super Bowl this year, he's got no excuse.
He's not going to win a Super Bowl this year because the AFC is a gauntlet. It's a gauntlet.
It is a gauntlet. He has all the weapons around him now.
Like, okay, and guess who else has weapons too? Are we forgetting that the Bengals played in the Super Bowl last year? Everybody remember the defending AFC champion?
Joe Marcus, wait a minute. Let me ask you this question, Marcus. Let me ask you this question, and I just want to ask this question before I go because I definitely got to go downtown real quick on the radio. Yeah, I definitely listen. We're gonna pick this back up. We got to pick this back up. We got to be consistent with this. This is why right here. My question to you though, Marcus, is would the Bills have beaten the Bengals, sir, in Buffalo if they would have played?
The Bengals beat the hang on. The Bengals beat the number 1 seed.
They did.
The Bengals beat the do you remember that the Tennessee Titans were the number 1 seed?
Oh, definitely.
Yep. And all of those excuses, well, we got cheated out of the wait a minute, though.
The Tennessee Titans got cheated.
Hey, Tannehill, he is not a good quarterback.
The Tennessee Titans
they had 9 sacks. 9 sacks, and they still won the game. Oh, here's the other thing about the Bengals.
Just goes. Hold on,
here's the other thing about the Bengals. And I heard so many excuses. Oh, well, we should have got a chance after the coin toss. The Bengals lost the coin toss.
Sure did.
And guess what? What they did? And guess what they did?
Buffalo.
Guess what they did, Dalton? They lost the coin toss too. And guess what they did?
Intercepted him in 13 seconds.
So I don't want to hear it. Here's the bottom line. It's always wide right, or we ain't supposed to be here, or everybody, or circle the wagons. Nobody gives us no respect. If you want respect, you got to win the games. No one wants to hear it. You know who else didn't win championships back in the day? The Seattle Seahawks. And they went out there and they kicked the Denver Broncos. With the Peyton Manning Denver Broncos, they kicked their teeth in and they got their respect. You have to go out there, stop making excuses, and win a game. That's what it comes down to. Now, you got to deal with the Bengals, the defending AFC champions, who Joe Burrow, the number 1 pick a couple of years ago, who's not about to get kicked off his team when they didn't pick up another quarterback with 24 cases against them, and they're the defending AFC champion. That's what number 1 overall picks are supposed to do. Just say.
All right.
They haven't done it in 15 years though.
With that being said, my guy Amir Drake was good. Adrian Audrey was good. Shout out to Craig, my guy Craig, and Tate in the building watching. As well, listen, this is Rise Up Unlimited, folks. You're not getting this nowhere else. This is Rise Up Unlimited, the radio show, brought to you by WDAP Radio, WDAP TV, on YouTube, on Spreaker.com, on Facebook, all this good stuff. I'm telling you now, if we get this consistently like this, man, I tell you what, man, this is one hell of a show with all y'all here. Quotes, Jay Andre, got Sports Angle, my guy Rocco Raquelli from Las Vegas, Nevada with PR Connections Radio, got my guy Dalton Smith, my guy Marcus the Alphabet on Mr. Friday Night Lights, got Wave, my guy Benjamin Ben, who I couldn't get back in here for some silly reason. I see him over there. He listening. Got Jay Andre, my guy, my bro right here from Buffalo, New York, Jay Andre in the building, and Sam Slade from NCW. A matter of fact, we're going to end the show off with Sam Slade. Sam?
Yes, sir.
Tell them what's going on Saturday real quick.
Saturday night, Polish Cadets at 7 o'clock. We're going to have some severe matches. Over the last few days, we have no clue what the plan is after the recent attacks on Shadowcat and Matt Motto.
Okay.
Or the status of the injuries sustained at the hands of Russo and the villain. We're going to have 5 championship matches. 5, count them. The ladies champion. We're going to have the heavyweight champion, Megabyte Ronnie, against the return match against Dakota Orion, Rare Breed. We're going to have the tag team champions. We're going to have a lot of action Saturday night at the Polish Cadets. Grant and Amherst, be there.
That's a fact. All those in Buffalo, New York, Make sure you're there for NCW. Nickel City Wrestling definitely putting on some great matches. If you have not seen, better go on Facebook and watch some of their stuff because they have some really good talent there. Definitely for sure. Shout out to Shadow Cat and everybody who's wrestling, everybody who's tuned in as well. Shout out to you. Again, next week we're gonna be right back. Me, Rocco Raquelli, Marcus the Alphabet, Dalton Smith, and I hope everybody else come and join in too. Quotes, Jay Andre, Wave. I can't wait to see y'all. This was just a whole lot of damn fun. All right. Make sure you tune in in about 37 minutes. We will be on Power 96.5, Waffle Sports, Late Night Sports. I got a date. Sports date with the guy Mookie Hawkins coming up because I want to tell Mookie Hawkins that he is Skip Bayless. I'm going to tell him tonight that he is Skip Bayless tonight. And I want all y'all to hopefully call into the show. I want y'all to bang them lines heavy and I want to thank y'all for the support that y'all show consistently and genuinely. All right. With that being said, Alphabets. Got my guy Rocco Raquelli, Dalton Smith, Jay Andre Frederick. Got my guy Quotes, my guy Terrell Harris in the building, and Benjamin Ben plus Sam Slade on the ones and twos. Shout out to Ramona Dye for calling in too. Thank you very much, Ramona. Love you to death. We got to get it back in line with these shows, and definitely continue to support and tune in. Marcus, what's your famous saying?
It's been real and it's been fun, but it ain't been real fun. See ya!